Alright, what is up guys? So with the Pro League out of action for the next 2 weeks, I really wanted to step up my content game and bring you guys some stat breakdowns and some deep dives to try and give you something to look forward to without the Pro League. So in this first episode, I'm going to go over the 3 SMG carries that we saw in Division B. Really impressive performances out of all of them, and those are going to be Priestahh from 100 Thieves, Abezy from eUnited, and Huke from Team Envy. Again, all 3 of these players were super impressive with their SMG play over the past 2 weeks, and I think they were definitely the MVP candidates for those respective teams. So to start off, we're going to look at Priestahh from 100 Thieves, and this first statistics that I'm going to go over, the hardpoint KD, is probably the most impressive out of all these ones that you see on the slide, just because of how important it was for 100 Thieves to get back in the groove in their hardpoint game. We saw at the PLQ, they started off 0-5. They brought it back later in the tournament, but right now in the Pro League, they really haven't struggled at all. They're 8-2 hardpoint record, second best hardpoint team in the whole Pro League behind Midnight, and I thought it was really, really important for this Priestahh move to happen because he brings a presence on the map with his SMG that is really unlike a lot of people in the entire Pro League. I guess like Huke might be the only one that could contest up there, but especially in hardpoint, he is probably the #1 right now. So again, #3 hardpoint KD at a 1.31. That's a really impressive KD, especially for an SMG player, and I believe that was also the #1 for Division B. So really impressive hardpoint numbers, and I would say this pickup by 100 Thieves was the main reason why they were able to turn around their hardpoint. I would also give a lot of credit to Crowder, their new coach, because there was a lot of things that the rest of the 4 players needed to improve on to. I mean, one player is not going to change your entire PowerPoint game, I don't think. So that coaching was probably really helpful for them, and adding Priestahh to the lineup was even better for them. So going down the line, #6 respawn KD. He didn't have the two of the hottest control games throughout Division B. He was probably going like 0.9-ish in the KD category, but this hardpoint really boosted him up to that 1.21. As you can see, respawn score per minute still up there at #5, so he was still doing some dirty work in the controls, and that's probably why he was able to maintain such a high score per minute. And again, he was #3 in S&D KD. So not only in the hard points where it's popping up twice in the series, he's also popping off in the S&Ds that also show up twice in the series. So again, an SMG player doing this is really, really impressive. He had a 1.25 in that game mode, and he was #3 in AKD with a 1.22. So factoring in all of the game modes, he was #3 in the entire Pro League, and I believe #2 in the in Division B. So later on, I kind of want to go into this X Factor stat. I'll go into it with Huke, but right now we will look at Priesthah's X Factor stat. So the X Factor stat is basically how well you do in your wins versus how well you do in your losses. And I really want to take a look at the respawn wins versus respawn losses for Priestahh. So again, 1.34 in his respawn wins, and that's across 14 maps. So that's a really big sample size. And then you look at at his losses, and he has only a 0.84. So those 4 maps, again, I guess, what is it? Most of those are going to be the controls, and he was going negative in the controls, so that makes sense. So it is a 0.5 difference between him and his wins versus him and his losses. So you really can see how important it is for him to perform, for 100 Thieves to win, and how important it is for their opponents to shut him down to try and get like that win for their team. So I think all of these stats were really impressive by Priestahh, and I do see them doing super well in Fort Worth if they can keep up that hardpoint game, because I mean that was was holding them back this entire time, and with him and with those numbers, and if you can keep that up, it's going to be really, really good scenes for 100 Thieves at Fort Worth. Moving on, we're going to look at Abezy. So Abezy was a really, really surprising player for me because going into Black Ops 4, I mean, we always say this, S&D stars, they always get picked up and they always do well. And I was impressed with his S&D, obviously, just because that's what we were focused on him doing and improving for eUnited, because that's why they picked him up as an S&D specialist. But when you see him play in these respawns, he's super aggressive, but while he's super aggressive, he's also winning gunfights consistently, and he's putting a lot of damage output for eUnited, which is super important for the entire team, and it's super important for like Arcides, the main ICR player, to try and finish those kills out for the squad. So I wanted to really take a look at these damage numbers, and it's really impressive to me because he, in every game mode, as you can see on the screen, number 2 in hardpoint damage per minute, number 2 in control damage per minute, and number 2 in S&D damage per round. So you can make the case Temp should be on this list as well, and I agree. I really didn't want to go into Temp too much just because I think these players had a better job or did a better job of carrying their squad in the SMG category, and I think his output in S&D just surpasses Temp in that damage category. Temp does a really good at damage output and hardpoint control. Don't get me wrong, and I think he's number 1 in both of those. But he's not as near at the top for S&D like Abezy is. And for Abezy to get these damage outputs in all 3 game modes consistently is super impressive for a young player, a rookie in the scene. And I really expect big things out of him for the rest of the year, because I think he's somewhat similar to how we saw Dashy come up. We really saw him as an S&D player, but gradually he became a god in respawns, and who knows, maybe Abezy can get to that level within a few years. So again, next off, I wanted to look at the engagement heavy and positive side of the stats. So we took a look at the damage and the output part, but I really wanted to look at the engagement. So he is number 1 in respawn engagements per minute. So out of all players in the entire Pro League, he's number 1, and he's also maintaining a number 4 AKD. This is super impressive, because if you want anyone to be getting in these large amount of gunfights as a sub, you're not really expecting them to go super positive, and that's what he's doing. I believe he has a 1.11 respawn KD. So if you're going with the number 1 respawn engagements and maintaining a 1.11, you can't really ask more for an SMG player. So really impressive performance out of Abezy. I think eUnited's 7-3 S&D record can be really attributed a lot to him, and I really expect big things out of this young guy in the future. So moving on, last player I think was MVP for Envy by a long shot, just because he's pretty much the only reason they're not winless right now. I think Silly did a really good job in the last 2 games of stepping up and helping them get those wins, but Huke basically made every map close for them. Even if they did lose in those game 5s or round 11s, he was up there trying to do his best to try and carry the squad. As you can see in the numbers, number 2 AKD with a 1.24, best in Division B, number 5 respawn KD with a 1.21, and number 2 S&D KD with a 1.29. He's the best SMG cat in all 3 of these categories in the Pro League. He's definitely my SMG player of the entire game so far, just because of how much he's able to do, even on maybe like a poor roster. I shouldn't say Envy's a poor roster, but definitely Division B, they did not look top tier until the end. And I don't know if they'll be able to carry that in Fort Worth. Maybe, I don't know, they may even make a team change. But I think Huke is definitely, it's super impressive how much he's able to do with what he's given with how much his teammates are giving to him, I should say. And then as you can see, the X Factor stat here, KD in respawn wins 1.48 and KD in respawn losses a 1.00. So even though those losses, he's still going even, and that's a 0.48 difference. But what's really important to see here is the number of maps. So with Priestahh, we saw it was 14 maps in his respawn wins, and then 4 maps, I believe, in the respawn losses. And it was a pretty big disparity. I think it was a 0.5. But when you look at Huke, he has basically the same amount of maps in both, and he has that big difference still. So it's a pretty good sample size for both the wins and the losses, and he's still getting this big 0.5 difference. So again, really important for opponents to shut him down if they want to win, and really important for Envy to have him like succeed if they want to win. So I thought, again, all 3 of these players did super well in Division B. I'm really looking forward to how they do in Fort Worth, especially like we weren't even considering SMGs to do super well just because of what we saw in Vegas with a lot of the Maddox and ICR players at the top of the KD's list. And then with the Pro League qualifier, we saw a lot of SMGs, but that was with the Stock 2 and the meta. And then with Stock 2 out of the meta in the Pro League, I wasn't really expecting these SMGs to do well. And I think these three players did a super tremendous job of performing at the top of the level in a position where you don't see too many players have these really good statistics. And yeah, I just really wanted to point those three out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will try to be uploading as much as possible these next 2 weeks to try and give you guys some videos and stuff to look forward to without the Pro League, and do some more deep dives and stat breakdowns for you. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about these three players, because I think they did a really good job in this Division B. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys later.